We're going to give you some background information for the performance task for mathematics. So the performance task is going to deal with some kind of a problem using a suspended fountain. So first of all, what is a suspended fountain? So we're going to take a look at what a suspended fountain is so we can understand it. So what you see here is you see a fountain, doesn't be hooked up to anything, and it's pouring water out.
Almost like magic.
Wow, that's really cool. That might solve our problem in California. We have a drought. So all we got to do is build a bunch of these fountains and we'll have all the water we need.
How does this thing work?
Okay, so what we're going to look at is to see how this actually works. So it is not really magic, but it is kind of a deceptive kind of an idea that you're looking at. So what they do is they take a pipe, you might see like right here, and they pump water up into the fountain and then it flows over the outside of it. So in order to do the performance task, you're going to need to understand some key terms. So some of the key terms we want to be able to understand. Well, first of all, you need to understand what a suspended fountain is. That's the idea of this fountain, like right here, going over, hanging above, and looks like it's not connected to anything. The other part is they're not going to fill the entire container full of water. And because of that, they call that a hollow fountain. So there's a part that's empty.
Why do you think they would have a hollow part of the fountain?
So we got to think about, there's got to be a reason. Well, what if you made one that was really big and you couldn't have that much water because water is very heavy? So that might be the point that they're actually going to use. Or just to save water in general. You don't want to fill a 50-gallon pot, if you don't need to. So in order to move the water, we use a water pump. So I think most of you understand what a water pump is. It's a device that's going to pump water out of a container. In this case, it's going to pump water up through the pipe so they can cascade over through the faucet so it looks like the faucet's running. The hollow, well, that's to be the empty part of the container. So they talk about the hollow part, they talk about the part that's empty. Okay, so we're going to be looking at some key other parts to this, and it's going to deal probably with some kind of a coffee pot, because that's what they have right here, and filling up a cup. So we have to understand some of the dynamics associated with this cup. So the first part that we have to look at is what's called the top rim. So that's this area right here as we go around. That's the top rim. So it's a circular edge that goes around the top. The bottom of the cup, well, that's called the base. So the base of the cup is also a circle down the bottom. And our last part that you'll need to be aware of is what's called the cup wall. The cup wall is the outside side of the cup, not including the top or the bottom. It's just the outside. So it's the sides of the cup. Okay, so make sure that you understand all these components. If there's any questions, you're going to ask the people who are leading your group and make sure you get the definitions clarified. You don't have to worry about actually writing out definitions, but you have to understand them for the problem.